Okay, hi Elvy-Lee. I hope you're enjoying your holiday. So, I have been through your draft and I've highlighted a few areas which I'm going to talk you through. Okay, so you start off by saying McDonald's print advertisements, blah, 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 are published on television, billboards, shopping centres. Well, television is not a print advertisement, neither is social media. So what I think you need to be saying here is McDonald's advertising campaigns. I don't know what you mean by encompass everyday endorsement worldwide. I think what you're saying is McDonald's has a huge advertising campaign worldwide, and they use every form, including television, billboards, shopping centres, social media, bus shelters, etc., to promote now their food and products. It's really it's a food, yes, it's a fast food. So just be specific to promote their fast food outlet. By the commonly using the peripheral route of persuasion to capture young children, teenagers, and adults to grasp their message across. Not sure that the editing here is just very confusing. You've mentioned this peripheral route of persuasion throughout your analysis, and I don't really know what it means. If you mean persuasion is a subconscious strategy or a subconscious thing, but I don't think you need to really talk about it. So, by the use of persuasive techniques, and show that you know that this is about advertising. So the conventions of advertising, including visual elements and language to capture. I think what you're saying here is it's one of the broadest possible audiences, because it is everybody. Make it clear that you understand that this is a very, very broad. They have a very broad consumer base. Now, we don't grasp our message across, we convey our message. Both of the print media advertisements, Choice is Good and McDonald's Pasta Zoo Happy Meal, were seen. Well, they were published. Be specific. We're talking about advertising. You need to use the technical language of advertising. In magazines, shopping centres, bus shelters. Where? Are we in Australia here? Because remember, might make this clear as well, that you understand that McDonald's, because of how huge the brand is and how it really is worldwide, it doesn't have one advertisement for the whole world. It has Australian advertisements, it has American advertisements, it has its Asian advertisements, it's European, it's British advertisements. So I think you need to make it clear that it's such a big brand that each different advertising campaign targets a very specific part of its wide audience. That's what you're trying to say. Now, you've kind of gone off track here again. Nevertheless, the advertisements correlate in the same format and angles, including similar graphics as This doesn't seem to mean much, and it's not relevant to form. So given that you're over the word count, I'd probably just cut it and focus on the fact that these are print advertisements, and show your understanding that they would be published in bus shelters or on busy roadsides which are in the vicinity of a McDonald's. Remember, they want people to go to them, see this advertisement, and go to McDonald's and buy the products and use the service. It's a fast food service. Okay? So you haven't really shown that understanding in form. Purpose. Well, they're not really promoting healthy eating. They're promoting McDonald's, aren't they? They are trying to promote McDonald's to a certain aspect of their target audience. Okay, we'll come on to the healthy eating later. Yes, it's globally known as the biggest fast food chain. You could probably have said a little bit about that in form, because that's informing that part of it. Their main focus of photography and text. Again, be specific, Elvy-Lee. You've got to use that technical advertising language. We talk about visual elements and language choices, or persuasive language, to persuade their target audience of parents and young children to do what? To purchase their Happy Meal, which is specifically targeted at children. But remember, we talked about how it's the parents who are buying it for them. So you need to just change this. You're getting a bit wordy and going off focus, but your editing is just confusing. Don't say that it appears to be targeted. You're analysing, so you're saying it is targeted. Is it targeted at a young audience? I thought we said that it was targeted at adults. Yes, a child might look at it and see the picture of the happy smiling girl and think, yes, that wants to be me, and they'll still see the image of the Happy Meal. So it does appeal to them on a certain level. But like you say, but don't say, but analysing through all aspects. I think you're saying, given the relative sophistication, the language used, it is predominantly aimed at the parents who'll buy the Happy Meal for their children. Yeah, this part's okay. Now, you've talked about bold yellow choices. Good, you can talk a bit about that, but I think that's more for your visual elements. Unless you then go back and just say why. I think what you're saying here is that the difference in language that each advertisement uses indicates a slight difference in the target audience. If you look at the language here, fun toy, coming soon, I'm loving it. This is very simple, childlike language that children can read and understand. Fun toy, coming soon. Choice is good, tastes good, is more sophisticated. So that's all you need to do in this part, is you pick out the elements of language that prove that the audience is slightly different in each case. Okay? So completely, I think you just need to read through this, and you need to cut a bit. Once you've explained the target audience, Elvy-Lee, and given a little bit of evidence from the advertisements, save your word count for your analysis. Okay, you need to change this so that social context comes before the visual elements, because the social context should inform the elements that they use. So I'm going to skip down to social context. Now, you've kind of missed the main point here, which is that within the social context, okay, McDonald's is a world-leading fast food outlet. One of the most successful, one of the most sophisticated in its advertising campaigns. And it has a huge demographic as its consumer. However, what you need to show understanding of is that in recent times, and you can look up some stats, obesity has become an issue, and fast food outlets and McDonald's have come under a lot of criticism for their high-fat sugar content and how they target children. So show your understanding of this. And therefore, has this informed this particular advertising campaign? Is this advertising frozen Fantas, which have about 9,000 teaspoons of sugar. No, this is the first one is advertising a happy meal that has healthy choices, and the second one is a different aspect of a new development in Happy Meal, which was the pasta shapes, which were supposed to be a more healthy option than the usual high-fat burger content. Probably actually made from eyeballs, but you don't need to mention that. This is what you need to show your understanding of in social context, right? Then you go back to your visual elements. So you've shown that this advertisement, the first one, is they're both slightly addressing this idea of the image that McDonald's had of being unhealthy. Now let's look at the visual elements. Yes, they use obviously they use the same McDonald's logo. What they do is the McDonald's logo is prominent in both advertisements. Now, if you're going to quote from the advertisement, please do it correctly. It's not "I'm loving it," it's "I'm loving it." And it's all lowercase because remember, this slogan is a new slogan that came out in the past, I think 5 years, to reflect the texting, the way that young people text, where they don't use capital letters or punctuation, etc. You can talk about where it appears, though. Okay, one appears in the top left, one appears in the bottom right. I told you that bottom right is taking advantage of reading from left to right. Reading habit, it's called. This peripheral route of persuasion, just change it. It's just talk about advertising techniques or visual elements and language. Signature colors, yes, brand colors, signature colors, right, used in several places. Why? This is to reinforce brand awareness. Remember, they're up against KFC and God knows what else. So this is all about getting people when they're young and to make them associate red and yellow with McDonald's. Now, you then go on in the same sentence to talk about the shade of violet and the hippopotamus foot. This is a separate part. This is the use of colour in the Choice is Good advertisement, okay? How is that reinforcing the product? By using the shade of violet in the girl's top, which is in the hippopotamus Happy Meal box. What is this doing? It's helping the customer to remember the product and to create that emotional connection of this happy girl and the product. You need to, that reminds me, you haven't, in your purpose, you haven't actually talked about that the purpose is to create an emotional connection. Remember, they build interest and desire for the product by appealing to desires or values in their target audience. So you need to specify what desire or value the advertisers are appealing to, okay, in their target audience. Now you're going to need to go back to the handout that I gave you from the PowerPoint, which in this case is probably happiness and health, but double check. Remember, Elvy-Lee, you have to show that you understand that the way that advertisers persuade us to buy their product is by creating an emotional connection between us and their product. And every decision they make to do with their visual elements, their choices of color, model, graphics, font, etc., is to reinforce this connection. Okay, so I'm going to drop back down to visual elements. I'm going to stop now